Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone.
You ever felt that strange silence in a room? The kind where someone smiles at you, but their eyes don't. Where the words sound friendly, but something deeper in your gut says, "This isn't real." Yeah. That's not paranoia. That's your soul whispering the truth. And today, I want to talk about something raw, something we don't often name out loud: hidden hate. Because sometimes hate doesn't scream, it smiles. You'll know someone secretly hates you when your pain becomes their quiet celebration. They don't always come out and say it. They won't tell you they're happy you failed. They'll just pause a little too long before offering sympathy. They'll tilt their head, give a half-hearted, "Oh no, I'm so sorry." But their eyes light up for just a second. And in that second, your soul knows. You can feel it. It's that invisible moment between the words where you sense their relief that maybe, just maybe, you've fallen off the pedestal they built for you. Because as long as you were doing well, they had to measure themselves against you, and that made them deeply uncomfortable. See, when people secretly resent you, your success feels like a mirror, reflecting back to them all the dreams they gave up on. Your courage reminds them of their fear. Your growth reminds them of their stagnation. And instead of facing that pain, they turn it outward, in the form of quiet hatred disguised as politeness. They'll say things like, "Well, maybe this will teach you to slow down," or "Everything happens for a reason." And though the words sound wise, the tone feels hollow. Because it's not compassion, it's disguised comfort. It's them saying, "Now that you've fallen, I can breathe again." And I know, it hurts. It's confusing when someone you trusted starts to feel more like an observer of your pain than a participant in your healing. You start to second-guess yourself. You wonder, am I imagining this? Maybe I'm just sensitive. But sensitivity isn't weakness. It's awareness. It's your spirit recognizing the truth your mind doesn't want to see. And the truth is, not everyone clapping for you wants you to win. Some people cheer just loud enough to keep you from hearing their relief when you lose. So what do you do with that kind of pain? You don't retaliate. You don't expose them. You rise differently. You get quiet, not bitter. You stop explaining your light to those who've already decided to live in the dark. Because when people quietly celebrate your failures, they reveal more about their own wounds than your worth. Their envy is just their unhealed self saying, "Why not me?" And that's not your burden to carry. You're not responsible for someone else's resentment. You're responsible for keeping your heart intact while standing in your truth. So the next time someone seems a little too comfortable with your pain, remember, your fall didn't expose your weakness, it exposed their heart. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to stop calling them a friend and start calling them what they are: a lesson. Because real friends don't secretly enjoy your brokenness. They hold your hand through it and help you rebuild. Have you ever noticed how some people turn everything into a competition? You tell them, "I finally got that promotion," and they respond, "Oh yeah, I did that years ago." You share, "I'm learning to play the guitar," and suddenly they pull out their phone to show you a video of themselves playing the same song. It's subtle. It's often polite. And yet it leaves a strange taste in your mouth. A mix of frustration, confusion, and sadness. What's really happening here is this: when someone secretly hates you, your light becomes a threat to their shadow. They don't want to see you shine. They need to prove that their shine is bigger, brighter, more important. It's not about you. It's about their fear. Their fear that someone else's joy, success, or authenticity makes their own life feel smaller. And the thing is, competition disguised as conversation can be exhausting. You start to doubt yourself without even realizing it. You find yourself pausing before celebrating your wins, because in their presence, it feels like every accomplishment has to be measured, weighed, and validated against their ego. You might even catch yourself minimizing your own victories, whispering inside, "Maybe I shouldn't talk about it. I don't want to make them uncomfortable." And that's the trick. That's how quiet resentment works. It forces you to shrink, to dim, to question your worth, all without ever saying a cruel word. Here's the thing, though: authentic connection isn't a contest. Real friendship doesn't keep score. Love doesn't tally wins and losses. Joy doesn't provoke jealousy. So when you notice someone constantly competing with you, even in moments meant for celebration, it's not about your success. It's about their insecurity, their inability to sit in someone else's happiness without feeling smaller. And it's painful because you want to reach out to share, to connect. And instead, you feel like you're walking on a tightrope. You wonder if being fully yourself will push them over the edge, if your happiness is somehow dangerous. But here's what I want you to remember: you are not responsible for their insecurity. You are not required to shrink yourself so someone else can feel bigger. You do not need to dim your light so that someone else's shadow feels safe. Celebrate your victories, all of them. Loudly, proudly, unapologetically. Because the people who belong in your life won't compete with you. They'll cheer you on, they'll learn from you, they'll rise alongside you. And the people who do compete, who subtly minimize, who always need to prove themselves, they are showing you exactly where they stand. And that knowledge, that's power. It's not bitterness, it's clarity. So keep shining, keep celebrating, keep growing. And let their envy be their own burden, not yours. Sometimes hate wears a friendly face. And it's the kind that sneaks in slowly, almost like a whisper you barely notice at first. You think they're trying to help you. You think they care. But what they're really doing is planting doubt. It shows up in advice that seems supportive on the surface. The kind of advice that, if you only hear the words, might even sound wise. Are you sure you're ready for this? Maybe you should think about it more before trying. I just don't want you to get hurt. It all sounds protective, doesn't it? Like they care. But what they're really doing is trying to control your choices. They're testing your confidence. They're subtly whispering, you can't do this. You shouldn't try. Don't get too far ahead of me. And here's the thing, it works. Sometimes we take their words to heart, we start doubting ourselves, and that doubt grows like a shadow in our minds. It clouds the bright, shining possibilities that belong to us. And if we're not careful, it can even make us pause in our own lives, second guessing what we know is right for us. This is one of the most dangerous forms of secret hate because it hides in plain sight. It doesn't scream. It doesn't look like a villain in a movie. It comes disguised as concern, as love, as friendship, and we let it in because we want to believe the best in people. But you have to start noticing the effect, not just the intent. Ask yourself, do I feel lighter after this conversation or smaller? Do I feel empowered and seen? Or do I leave questioning my own instincts, my own worth, my own strength? If the answer is that you feel diminished, that's your signal. That's your inner voice saying, this isn't love. This isn't friendship. This isn't care. This is quiet sabotage. And here's the freedom that comes with recognizing it. You can protect yourself without needing to accuse, without needing to fight. You can set boundaries. You can honor your own voice. You can say silently, if not aloud, I don't need advice that shrinks me. I don't need fear disguised as care. I choose to trust myself over someone else's hidden resentment. It's not revenge. It's courage. It's self-respect. And it's the only way to keep your heart open while keeping your life yours. Because when someone tries to disguise hate as help, it's a reflection of their own insecurities, not your worth. Your responsibility isn't to fix them. It's to rise anyway, to try anyway, to live anyway. And in doing that, you reveal something powerful, that no quiet sabotage can hold back a person who is committed to their own truth. This one is subtle, but it cuts deep. It's the kind of behavior that's confusing at first, because it feels almost like flattery. Someone sees what makes you shine, what makes you different, what makes you you, and instead of celebrating it, they start to copy it. They take your ideas, they adopt your style. They mimic the way you speak, the things you care about, even the way you carry yourself. And at first you might feel flattered, maybe even think, wow, they admire me. That's kind of sweet. But then the other shoe drops. They start criticizing you for the very things they've taken. They point out your flaws, your mistakes, the things that once made you proud. They take what's yours and then use it against you. Suddenly, your originality, your courage, your authenticity, the very things that make you strong, become targets. And it hurts. It hurts because deep down, You know they can't create that shine themselves. They can't produce it from within, so they try to steal it from you. And when they can't reach that level of courage on their own, they try to diminish yours. This isn't just envy. It's a complicated, quiet form of resentment, the kind that exists because they're afraid of their own freedom. They look at you and see someone who's unafraid to be fully alive, fully authentic, fully real. And instead of learning from you, instead of allowing themselves to be inspired, they try to control you. They try to bend your light into something manageable, something safe for them to tolerate. And you start to feel it, don't you? That little knot in your chest when they mimic you too closely, when their voice sounds like yours, when your ideas are suddenly theirs. It's unsettling. It's draining. It makes you question yourself. Am I overreacting? Is it really that bad? Here's the truth, it's not about you. It's about their fear of authenticity, their discomfort with their own inadequacies, their inability to celebrate someone else's freedom. When people secretly hate you, they can't bear to see you shine in ways they haven't yet. And instead of stepping into their own light, they try to cast shadows on yours. So what do? You don't fight it. You don't try to reclaim their approval. You keep being unapologetically yourself. You honor your originality. You protect your light. And here's the beautiful part. The very act of refusing to dim yourself becomes a mirror. It shows them what courage looks like. It shows them that admiration and emulation can exist without resentment. And if they can't learn that lesson, that's their struggle, not yours. So embrace who you are. Keep shining. Keep being unique. And let the people who try to copy and condemn, let them teach you the value of authenticity, even as they reveal their own fears. There's one more thing you need to know. The subtle ways some people try to diminish your worth. And it's often the hardest to see because it doesn't come as obvious cruelty. It comes in the small, almost invisible ways. It's the interruptions that cut you off mid-sentence. It's the dismissive laughter when you share your feelings. It's the constant jokes at your expense, the casual comments meant to make you feel small, unseen, or unimportant. And at first, you think, maybe they don't mean it that way. Maybe I'm too sensitive. But you notice a pattern, a feeling that builds in your chest like a storm cloud you can't shake. You start walking on eggshells around them, carefully measuring what you say, how you say it, and even if you should say it at all. Here's the thing, anyone who needs to shrink you to feel bigger is revealing their own insecurities. They're telling you, without saying it aloud, I cannot stand to see you equal or greater than me. They are scared of your strength, threatened by your confidence, intimidated by your voice, and instead of reflecting inward, they lash outward. And that's why boundaries are so crucial, because hate disguised as subtle diminishment doesn't need to be explosive. It doesn't need to be loud. It's quiet. It's consistent. It eats away at your confidence if you let it. So you have to protect your worth with tenderness, with vigilance, and with courage. You have to recognize the difference between someone challenging you in love, helping you grow, and someone challenging you to feel smaller, to feel less than you are. And when you do, here's the freedom that comes. You no longer live in their shadow. You no longer measure your value by how they treat you. You no longer give their resentment a seat at your table. Because you deserve to walk into every room knowing that your voice matters, your presence matters, your life matters, without needing anyone's approval. And anyone who tries to diminish that truth, that's their battle, not yours. So stand tall. Speak your truth, shine your light, protect your worth, and let the people who secretly hate you, let them reveal themselves quietly while you live boldly, fully, unapologetically. Because love, authenticity, and courage can never be diminished by someone else's hidden resentment. And you are living proof of that. So if someone does these things, if their energy feels heavy, their kindness feels conditional, their words drain your soul, don't internalize it. Don't start wondering what's wrong with you. You didn't make them hate you. You just reminded them of who they could be if they chose healing over envy. And here's the truth that sets you free. You don't need their approval. You don't need their apology. Just keep walking. With your heart open, your head high, and your boundaries strong. Because hate can't survive where authenticity lives. And you are the living proof of that. Thank you.